Okay, write down sp3 hybridization. sp3 hybridization. Come on, tell me. So what is sp3 hybridization? The process of intermixing of one s orbital and how many p orbital? 3 p orbital to form how many sp3? 4 sp3 hybrid orbital called sp3 hybridization. In sp3 hybridization, one s orbital and 3 p orbital. Which three p orbital? px, py, pz. So 3 p orbital undergo intermixing or undergo hybridization. They form 4 sp3 hybrid orbital. Those 4 sp3 hybrid orbital placed 4 corners of the regular tetrahedron. So last class we have completed. Okay, let's see example for sp3 hybridization. Methane, CH4 or formation of CH4. Formation of methane is an example for sp3 hybridization. Okay, now tell me, in methane what is the central atom? First, central atom is carbon. Okay, write down central atom is carbon. Its electronic configuration, 1s2 2s2 2p2, 1s2 2s2 2p2, right? Then what is the valence shell electronic configuration? 2s2 2p2. So therefore write the ground state electronic configuration. Ground state electronic configuration is 2s2, s orbital, it is 2 electron, 2p2, there are 3 p orbital, 2 electrons. So this is a ground state electronic configuration. Tell me, next, in excited state what happened? One electron from 2s orbital jump from 2s to 2p. So therefore first excited state electronic configuration, it become 2s1, 1 electron, 2p become what? 2p3. So this is the first excited state. Now tell me, in first excited state, carbon undergo which hybridization? sp3. There is a process of intermixing of one s orbital, p1, p2, p3. So therefore it undergo sp3 hybridization. If it is undergo sp3 hybridization, it form how many sp3? 4 sp3, because 1 2 3 4, it form 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals, right? Now these 4 sp3 hybrid orbital having equal energy and same shape. Energy and shape will be equal. So therefore then how they are placed? So these 4 sp3 placed in 4 corners of regular tetrahedron. It means it is a 1 sp3, second, third, fourth. So each hybrid orbital has small lobe, no? Small lobes also. Okay, it is a 1 2 3 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals of carbon. Okay, now come on, tell me, it is about central atom of carbon. Then this central atom is surrounded by how many hydrogen? 4 hydrogen. But we know that hydrogen, each hydrogen has 1s1 electronic configuration. That means each hydrogen has half filled s orbital. There are how many hydrogen? 4 hydrogen. Then 4 hydrogen having 4 s orbitals. Those 4 s orbitals overlap with sp3 of carbon. So which overlapping it is? sp3, yes, it is also sp3s, sp3s, sp3s. Therefore methane has how many sigma bond? 4 sp3s sigma bonds. Okay, then exam point of view, what is important? 1. Hybridization. Second is bond angle. Third one is shape. Fourth one is number of bonds, and fifth one is type of bond or types of bonds. Come on, tell me. What is the hybridization of carbon in methane? sp3. Right? Next, what is the bond angle? So the bond angle between any two sp3 is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Therefore, it is tetrahedral 109 degrees 28 minutes. Next, shape is tetrahedral. Right? Next, number of bonds. How many? 4. Which bonds? Sigma bond. Which type of sigma bond? sp3 s sigma bond. There are 4 sp3 s sigma bonds. It is about methane. Right? Next is dsp2 hybridization. Fourth one, no? Right on first. dsp2 hybridization. Come on, tell me. In dsp2 hybridization, there is a process of intermixing of d orbital. Which d orbital? dx square minus y square. Important. Next, s orbital. And how many p? 2p. Which p orbital? pz is compulsory. Then either px or py. Right. Next, the process of intermixing of one d orbital, one s orbital, two p orbital to form how many dsp2 hybrid orbitals? 4. It form 4 because 4 are combining, no? Since 4 are combining, it form 4 dsp2 hybrid orbital. Okay. Now come on. So how they are placed? 4 dsp2. So these 4 dsp2 orbital placed 4 corners of the square. Right? These are 4 dsp2 placed 4 corners of the square. Hence, what is the shape of the molecule? Hence, shape is square planar. Okay. Then example. So example for this dsp2 we study in coordination compounds. Do you remember? Nickel compound, nickel tetracyanide, tetracyanide nickel 2, nickelate 2, tetracyanide nickelate 2. So this complex compound undergo dsp2. If you see the structure of complex compound, come on, tell me. Here nickel central atom is nickel. Central atom is nickel. What is its atomic number? Nickel atomic number 28. Iron 26, no. Iron 26, cobalt, nickel 28. So Z is 28. Since atomic number is 28, what is electronic configuration? Argon 3d8 4s2. Argon 3d8 4s2. So you can write 4p0 also. After 4s there will be a 4p also there, but it is empty. Now tell me. Next is ground state electronic configuration. What is the ground state electronic configuration? 3d8. So d orbitals are 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you write 4 lines, you will get 5 bucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is a 3d8. Next is 4s2. Next is 4p0. Now, where the electrons are present? D8, no. And moreover, tell me, this is a nickel electronic configuration. But in this complex compound, what is the electronic configuration? What is the oxidation state of nickel? If you calculate, you will get +2. Right? Nickel +2. So therefore, if it is a nickel +2, what is electronic configuration? 2 electrons are removed from here. 3d8, 4s0, 4p0. So here 3d8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 4s 0, 4p 0. So this is the ground state electronic configuration. Ground state. Okay, tell me. No. Now tell me, but in VSPR theory, VSEPR theory or VBT, not VSPR, VBT theory, in complex compound we have studied. So this nickel surrounded by 4 cyanide ligands. These 4 cyanide ligands are strong ligands. Yes or no? Ammonia is a strong ligand, CO is a strong ligand, Cn minus also strong ligand. In the presence of strong ligand, there is a rearrangement of electron takes place according to VBT. Do you remember? So rearrangement. So what is the rearrangement here? Now this one unpaired electron, it is a paired up with this. So therefore the electronic configuration after rearrangement is 3d 1 8 only. It is 3d8. Now it is a vacant orbital 1d and 1s is there, 4s is there and 4p 0 is there. But then according to VBT, in complex compound we have studied this nickel provide vacant orbital, right? Nickel provide how many vacant orbital, which is equals to coordination number. What is the coordination number of this complex compound? 4. So therefore, so 4 orbital undergo hybridization, that is 1 2 3 4. 1 d orbital, 1 d orbital, 1 s orbital, 2 p orbital. It is dsp2 hybridization. Okay, so this is we study in complex compound coordination compounds. Okay, now 1 2 3 4. There are 4 orbital undergo hybridization. It form how many dsp2? 4 dsp2 hybrid orbital. Now these 4 dsp2 placed, where they placed? 4 corners of the square. If I take it is a square, then 4 dsp2 placed 4 corners of the square. Nickel is a central atom, right? It is a 1 dsp, second dsp2, third dsp2, 4 dsp2, right? Now tell me, these 4 dsp2 orbital overlap with what? There is a Cn, right? Cn has here filled orbital. Each Cn is a ligand, no? Cn minus, each Cn has filled orbital. That is a filled orbitals of Cn overlap with this, like this. This is we study in detail in complex compound. Okay, this is the filled orbitals of Cn overlap with the vacant hybrid orbitals of nickel. So therefore tell me, what is the geometry of the nickel tetracyanide? It is square geometry, square planar. What is hybridization? dsp2. sp3d. Okay, Suman, tell me, what is sp3d hybridization? The process of intermixing of 1s orbital, 3p orbital and 1d orbital. Here important is which d orbital? dz square, to form how many sp3d? It form how many sp3d? 5 sp3d hybrid orbital, called sp3d hybridization. So example, formation of PCl5. Come on, tell me. In the formation of PCl5, what is the central atom? phosphorus. Central atom is phosphorus, right? Its electronic configuration, tell me. What is the electronic configuration of phosphorus? Atomic number is 15, no? It is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p, 3p3, 3p3. So therefore you see, what is the valence shell here? 3s2, 3p3. Now write the ground state electronic configuration. In ground state electronic configuration, we write only valency shell. That to orbital diagram. 3s2, s orbital is a 1 box. 3s2, 3 here. How many box in p orbital? 3 box. px, py, pz. 3p3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. But tell me, since it is a phosphorus, it is belongs to which period? Which period? Third period, right? It is belongs to third period, and after 3p3 there is a 3d orbital also will be there. 3d 0. Is there d orbital in second period? No, there is no d orbital in first period and second period. 1d 2d irutta? No, 1d 2d is not possible. 3d is possible. Therefore it is a third period orbital element, therefore d will be there. 3d is 0. Okay, now tell me, in excited state what happened? One s electron jump from s orbital to d orbital. That is excited state electronic configuration. In excited state electronic configuration, 3s2 become 3s1. Next 3p3, it is as it is. Then 3d, now it become 3d1. Now in this state, phosphorus undergo which hybridization? 1s orbital. How many p? 3p and 1d. So therefore it undergo sp3d hybridization. Since phosphorus undergo sp3d hybridization, it form how many sp3d? 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals. Right, now phosphorus forms 5 sp3d hybrid orbital. How the 5 orbitals are placed? This is important. These 5 placed, in out of 5, 3 are placed at 3 corners of the triangle. It is 1, 2, 3. 3 are placed at 3 corners. Therefore the angle between, so 1, 2, 3. So any 2 orbital is 120 degrees because it is a triangle. Right. Next, what about remaining 2? The remaining 2 are placed above and below the plane. Therefore, now here PCl5 has how many sp3d? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 sp3d, and moreover each sp3d has one unpaired electron, because before hybridization you see each orbital has one unpaired electron. Right. Next, it is about phosphorus. But now phosphorus surrounded by how many chlorine here? 5 chlorine. If you write the electronic configuration of chlorine, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p, 3p5. Right. Now all are completely filled except 3p5. If you write 3p5, 3p5 is like this. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is a px, it is py, pz. In 3p5, which p orbital is partially filled or half filled? Pz. Only pz orbital of chlorine is half filled. Therefore, so here pz orbital of chlorine overlap with what? Overlap with the sp3d hybrid orbital of phosphorus. Then there are how many chlorine here? There are 5 chlorine. Therefore, 1 chlorine has 1 pz, 5 chlorine has 5 pz. Therefore, 5 pz orbitals of 5 chlorine overlap with 5 sp3d hybrid orbital, like this. So all are axial overlapping. Now here, which kind of bond takes place? There is a sp3d and a pz sigma bond. How many? There are 5. But when comes to PCl5 or sp3d, we have studied 3 important points. Okay, do you remember? In sp3d hybridization, we studied 3 important points. First point, sp3d has 2 types of bonds. Very good. Or PCl5 has 2 types of bond. There are 2 types of bond. One are A, axial bond. Second one is equatorial bond. Right? Now tell me here, which is axial and which is equatorial? Equatorial is what? The 3 bonds, 1, 2, 3, which are lying on the 3 corners of the triangle. The bonds which are lying at the 3 corners of the triangle, they are equatorial bonds. The bonds which are perpendicular to the equatorial, that what? Plane of the triangle is axial. It is axial, it is axial. So therefore, it is a axial bond. This is a equatorial bond. Next, in PCl5 structure, so which bonds experience more repulsion, whether axial or equatorial? So axial bonds experience more repulsions. Right, since axial bonds experience more repulsion, they move away from the phosphorus, therefore their bond length will be more. Right, so this bond length, axial bond length is more, therefore axial bond length more than equatorial bond length. Next, one more point. If lone pairs are present in sp3d hybridization, if lone pairs are present, where the lone pair should be placed? On equatorial or axial? It should be on equatorial. So which bonds are stable? Equatorial. Right? Since equatorial bonds are stable, so they must be, lone pair must be placed at, yes. If lone pairs are present, lone pair must be placed or occupy at equatorial positions. Right. Next, if you see PCl5 is unstable. Usually PCl5 molecule is unstable. We study even 17th group, where in 15th group element. So PCl5 is unstable because of these 2 equatorial axial bonds. In PCl5 there are 2 axial bonds. These axial bonds experience more repulsion. So due to more repulsions, these bonds move away from the phosphorus. Their bond length is more and their bond breaking energy is less. That means when PCl5 is heated, when phosphorus pentachloride is heated, which bond can be broken so easily? Equatorial or axial? It is a axial, because axial bonds are weak bonds and they move away from the phosphorus and their bond length is more, bond energy is less. Therefore, on heating, so axial bonds broken, PCl5 converts into PCl3 plus Cl2. Right? Next, but in solid state, it is previous question appeared in NEET. In solid state, PCl5 exists as a PCl6 minus and PCl4 plus. In solid state, it's nothing but dimer. No, there are 2 phosphorus. 6 plus 4, 10 chlorine. Right? So therefore, in solid state, PCl5 exists as a PCl6 minus PCl4 plus. Now its geometry is octahedral. PCl6 minus. PCl4 plus, it is a tetrahedral. Therefore, octahedral, tetrahedral cation anions exist in solid state of PCl5. Important. So come on, tell me, what is sp3d2 hybridization? The process of intermixing of 1 s orbital, 3 p orbital and 2 d orbital. Here important is which d orbital? Dx square minus y square and dz square orbital to form how many sp3d2? Very good, 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbital. Here 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals will be formed. Okay, example, let us take formation of SF6. Formation of SF6 sulfur hexafluoride. Come on, tell me, in sulfur hexafluoride, what is the central atom? So write down, central atom is sulfur, but its atomic number is 16. Therefore, write electronic configuration: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. So what is the valence shell? 3s2, 3p4. So therefore, if you want to write ground state electronic configuration, in ground state electronic configuration we write only valence shell 3s2, 3p4. 3s2, s orbital has 1 box, we know it, it is a 3s2. Next is 3p4. So p orbital has how many box? 3 box, px, py, pz. It is a 3p4. But since sulfur belongs to third period, it has how many? No, it has d orbital also. That is, we can also write 3d 0, because after 3p 3d will be there. Right? Now tell me, in first excited state what happened? This 1 electron jumped here to here. In second excited state, there is another electron from s orbital jump here to here. Therefore, we take second excited state. Second excited state electronic configuration is 3s become 3s1, 3p4 become 3p3 and 3d0 become what? 3d2. Okay, 3d2. So this is the second excited state electronic configuration of sulfur. Now tell me, in second excited state it undergo which hybridization? The process of intermixing of s orbital, 3p orbital, 2d orbital. It undergo sp3d2 hybridization. Okay, in sp3d2 hybridization it form how many sp3d2? 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals will be formed. Next, here important is how these 6 are oriented, are placed in octahedral. Right, that means out of 6 sp3d2 there are 4 sp3d2 placed 4 corners of the square. If I take it is a square, sulfur, there are 4 orbitals are placed 4 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4 corners of the square. Okay, then what is the angle between any these 2 orbitals? Is of course 90 degrees. And what about remaining 2? one is above the plane, second one is below the plane. So this arrangement is called octahedral arrangement. They are placed octahedrally. Next, if you see the molecule, sulfur is surrounded by 6 fluorine, SF6. But we know that what is the atomic number of fluorine? It is 9. 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Then here 2s2, 2p5 all are completely filled except p. So p5, it is 1 px, py, pz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell me which p orbital is incompletely or partially filled, that is pz. Then means one fluorine has one pz. There are how many fluorine? 6 fluorine. 6 fluorine have 6 pz orbitals. They overlap like this. Okay. Tell me what is the overlapping between sp3d2 and this pz? It is sp3d2 pz overlapping. It is from sigma bond, no? How many? There are 6 sp3d2 p2 pz sigma bonds. Total is 6. Okay. Now here also we have studied some important points about the octahedral. 1. In octahedral, so which bond experience more repulsion? Whether here also equatorial bonds are there, axial. Equatorial is the bond which is lies on 4 corners of the square. This is a equatorial bond. Right. What about this? Axial bond. So therefore, as like PCl5, SF6 also has equatorial bonds, axial bond. Now similar to PCl5, here also these equatorial bonds or axial bond experience more repulsion compared to equatorial bonds. Therefore, since they experience more repulsion, what happen? These axial bonds move away from the sulfur. That means bond length is more. Right? Write down. Axial bonds experience more repulsions, therefore bond length is more than equatorial bond length. So the bond length of axial bond is more than equatorial bond. Next, one more point. If lone pair electrons are present, come on, tell me. This is different. If lone pair electrons are present in sp3d2. Okay, in sp3d2 hybridization, if lone pairs are present, those lone pairs should be placed whether on axial positions or equatorial. Axial positions, important. So lone pair should occupy axial positions. There are many reasons. One is stability, to attain stability. Now, of course, these bonds are larger bond, but when lone pair present in this position, they become stable. It's not only because of repulsions, there are many other factors. In previous case, there was equatorial positions, because their axial positions more repulsions. Understood. Here axial positions having more repulsions, even though lone pairs are placed or occupy only axial only, not equatorial. Okay. Its molecule, its structure is now depends on many factors, not only one electronic factor. There are many factors. They become more stable when they occupy these positions. Okay. Next is sp3d3. Come on. So last one is sp3d3 hybridization. Come on, tell me. So what is sp3d3 hybridization? It is a process of intermixing of 1 s orbital, 3p, and which d orbitals? Here dxy, comma dyz and dzx orbitals. Do you remember these three orbitals are called T2g na EG na? T2g. They are also called non-axial orbitals, right? We study in D block elements or coordination compound also. Non-axial or T2g orbitals. What about dx square minus y square dz square? EG orbital, they are axial orbitals, right? So they are axial because they are oriented on axis. These are non-axial because they are oriented between axes. Okay, fine. So it is formation of IF7 is best. IF7 is best and simple example for sp3d3 hybridization. Come on, tell me. In the formation of iodine tetrafluoride, so what is the central atom? Central atom is iodine. Can you tell me its electronic configuration? Electronic configuration, you need not write 1s2 2s2, you can write just valence shell. Iodine belongs to which period? Iodine belongs to which period? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, aspartame. Fluorine is second period, no? Not first period, second period. First period has only two elements, hydrogen, helium. Second, third, fourth, fifth. So therefore, it is a fifth period. Since it is a fifth period, what is the general electronic configuration of halogen? We have studied NH2 NP5, correct? NH2 NP5 is the general electronic configuration of halogen. In place of N, what we should write? 5. Therefore, 5s2, 5p, 5, and there is a 5d, 0 will be there. 5d only, same shell, 5d only. So therefore, what is the ground state electronic configuration? Ground state 5s2, there are 2 electrons, 5p6, sorry 5p5, 5 electrons, 5d 0. Now tell me, iodine undergo which excitation? First, second or third? Third excitation. Why? In first excitation, 1 electron jump. Second excitation, second electron jump. In third excitation, this electron also jump to here. Then only it become 3d3. Yes or no? To get 3 electron in d orbital, there must be 3 excitations. So first excitation d1, second excitation d2, third excitation will get d3. So therefore, in third excitation, it become 5s1, 5p3, 5d3 will be there. So in third excitation state, it undergo sp3d3 hybridization. It form how many? 7 sp3d3 hybrid orbitals. Okay. If it is undergo sp3d3, it forms 7 sp3d3. How the 7 sp3d3 placed? Pentagonal bipyramidal. In pentagonal bipyramidal, you know the meaning of pentagonal. There are 5 orbitals are placed first 5 corners of the pentagon. Okay, here is take sulfur. There are 5 orbitals, not sulfur, iodine, sorry, iodine. 5 orbitals, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, then what is the angle between any two orbital? Is 72 degrees. And what about remaining two? Now here these 5 are called what? Equatorial, axial? Equatorial bonds or orbitals. Then what about remaining two? Axial. One is above the plane, second one is below the plane. So I will draw like this. Above and below. So these two are axial. But here important is which bond experience more repulsions, whether equatorial or axial. Here equatorial, because bond angle is very less, because axial is they have 90 degrees. Here 90 degrees bond angle. So therefore equatorial orbital experience more repulsions. Since they experience more repulsion, so their bond angle is more compared to axial. Therefore equatorial bond length, not bond angle, bond length is more than what? Axial bond length. Okay, fine. Now here iodine has 5 equal sp3d3 hybrid orbital, but iodine surrounded by how many fluorine? Iodine surrounded by 7 fluorine. We know that each fluorine has pz, no? Just now I studied it. There is a pz orbital is like this, no? So each fluorine has one partially filled or partially filled or what? Pz orbital. Okay. Now there are how many fluorine? 7 fluorine. One fluorine has 1 pz, 7 fluorine has 7 pz. Therefore 7 pz orbitals of 7 fluorine overlap with this 1 2 3, here is 4, right? It is 5 6 7. Here which overlapping it is? sp3d3, it is pz. So therefore it form 7 sp3d3 pz sigma bonds. So what is the geometry or shape is? Pentagonal bipyramidal. There are 2 bond angles. So PBP has 70 degree and 90 degrees. There are 2 bond angles. Come on, tell me. What are the applications of hybridization? First application is, tell me, because of hybridization. Now can you tell me, in hybridization which atom can undergo hybridization? Only central atom. In a molecule only central atom can undergo hybridization. What about surrounding atoms? They never undergo hybridization, right? So therefore central atom only undergo hybridization but not surrounding atoms. Next, Next application. See, we have studied sigma bond, pi bond. A sigma bond is always formed by overlapping of either hybrid or unhybrid. Hybrid. So therefore remember, a sigma bond always formed by overlapping of hybrid, whereas pi bond is formed by overlapping of unhybrid. So that means second one, sigma bond formed or formation of sigma bond takes place due to overlapping of hybrid orbitals. Next, here a bond can be formed by two types. One is a overlapping of hybrid and overlapping of unhybrid. Then which overlapping gives strong bond, whether hybrid or unhybrid? So a bond formed by overlapping of hybrid orbital is always stronger than overlapping of unhybrid orbital. So a bond formed by overlapping of hybrid orbital is always more stable than overlapping of pure atomic orbital, nothing but unhybrid orbital. So therefore a bond formed by overlapping of hybrid orbital is always more stable than overlapping of pure atomic orbital. Next, what is the order of bond strength? Important. Order of bond strength. When you see sp3, sp2, sp in 3 hybridization, remember sp3 sigma bond is always stronger than sp2 sigma bond, which is stronger than sp sigma bond, which is stronger than pp overlapping, sp overlapping, then ss overlapping. Last is pz overlapping, or nothing but px p by, no, can I take, better I'll take pi, which is nothing but px or p by p. So this is the order of bond strength. Next, sp3 stronger than sp2. Suppose question is like this: sp3 of course stronger. If there is a sp3 1, sp2 another, now which is stronger? sp3 more than sp2. Okay, so these are the some important applications. Now let's see what is the shortcut method to calculate or to identify hybridization. Now this is the routine study, we study even PU level also, but we don't have that much time to get hybridization, to solve the hybridization problems. Therefore we need to have some shortcut method to identify immediately hybridization. Okay, write down. Identification of hybridization in molecule. Identification of hybridization in a given molecule. So in a given molecule, how to identify hybridization is important, right? Now, so before going identification, we need to remember some important concepts. First is, take this tabular column, type of hybridization. Type of hybridization and number of hybrid orbitals. Okay, type of hybridization, number of hybrid orbital. We have studied type of hybridizations: sp, sp2, sp3, okay, sp3d, sp dsp2 we study, okay, that is only in coordination compounds. Here we don't get inorganic molecule, in coordination only. sp3 d2 and sp3 d3. Okay, even you can take that also, not a problem. sp, what is that? dsp2, no, okay, fine, let it be. But it is only for complex compounds. That's what here need not to study. We study separate case, that is. Now tell me, how many number of hybrid orbital present in sp? sp hybridization has how many number of hybrid orbitals? 2, isn't it? That is the process of intermixing of one s orbital, one p orbital to form how many sp? 2 sp. Therefore sp has 2 sp hybrid orbital. Next, sp2 has how many? 3, because the process of intermixing of one s 2p to form 3 sp2. Next, sp3 has 4, sp3d 5, it is 6, it is 7, right? So it is a type of hybridization and number of hybrid orbital. It means if you want to know what is the hybridization of molecule, it is better to calculate number of hybrid orbital. For example, take ammonia. Okay, I want to know the hybridization of central atom, that is nitrogen, in ammonia. If you want to know the hybridization of ammonia, we should take central atom. This central atom has how many hybrid orbital? Better you calculate number of hybrid orbital, so that if you know the number of hybrid orbital, you can compare, you can identify the hybridization. Suppose if this nitrogen has number of hybrid orbital is 2, its hybridization is sp. If this nitrogen has number of hybrid orbital is 3, sp2, number of hybrid orbital is 4, sp3, like that you can identify hybridization. So therefore, so it is easy to identify what number of hybrid orbitals, right? So therefore, to identify, to calculate number of hybrid orbital, we have one simple formula. Write down: number of hybrid orbitals. The number of hybrid orbital is equals to number of sigma bond plus lone pair. Sigma plus lone pair. It is the sum of the sigma plus lone pair which gives number of hybrid orbital. Let us take example ammonia. Tell me, so what is the hybridization of ammonia? If I ask hybridization of ammonia, what do you calculate? We identify hybridization of what? Nitrogen, no? Central atom. So therefore, first write the nitrogen central atom. It has how many valence electron? 5, because 15th group, 5 valence electron, right? Then there are how many hydrogen? 3. We know that each hydrogen can form one bond because it is a monovalent. Still there are how many electron left? 2 electron. Now tell me, this nitrogen has how many sigma bond?
3.
Sigma bonds equal to 3. How many lone pair? Equal to 1. Then calculate number of hybrid orbital is equals to sigma plus lone pair. Sigma is 3, lone pair is 1, 3 plus 1, 4. So the number of hybrid orbital is 4. It means this is sp3. How simple it is. Do you understand? Similarly, take another example, water. Yeah, water. In water, what is the central atom? Oxygen. It belongs to 16th group, 6 valence electron. First write the central atom, then write the valence electron. Then there are how many hydrogen? 2. So we know that each hydrogen can form one bond. Still there are how many lone pairs? 1, 2. Come on, tell me. Sigma equal to 2. Lone pair equal to 2. So what is the formula to calculate number of hybrid orbital? Number of hybrid orbital equal to sigma plus lone. Sigma is 2, lone pair is 2, equal to 4. So the number of hybrid orbital is 4. It means sp3. Right. Next, let's see one cation anion. Let us take ammonium ion. If it is cation, how to calculate hybridization? Same. Tell me, nitrogen central atom is N. It has how many valence electron? 5, because 15 group, that you should remember it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But see here, nitrogen has positive charge. Do you know what is the meaning of this? 1 electron lost. There was 5 electron, but it lost 1 electron. Means only 4. Then there are 4 hydrogen. We know that each hydrogen is a monovalent. It forms only one bond with 1 electron. So therefore, how many total number of sigma bond? 4. How many lone pair? 0. Then number of hybrid orbital equal to sigma is 4, lone pair is 0, equal to 4, that is sp3. Simple. Next, fourth one, H3O plus. Come on, identify the hybridization. Here oxygen central atom, it has how many valence electron? 6. But there is a positive charge. 1 electron is lost. Then there are how many hydrogen? 3. So each hydrogen can form one bond because it is a monovalent. Then sigma bonds are 3. Lone pair equal to 0. Okay, 1. Lone pair 0. Therefore, hybrid orbital is equals to 3 plus 1 equal to 4. It is also sp3. Next, fifth one, let us take one more ion, SO4 minus 2, sulfate. Okay, tell me, in sulfate we know that sulfur has 6 valence electron because 16 group element, right? Yes or no? Come on, tell me, there is a minus 2 charge, right? Do you know what is the meaning of minus 2? Okay, gain of 2 electron, of course. Now here there are 4 oxygen. 4 oxygen, in 4 oxygen there are 2 oxygen carrying minus 1 charge. Means it means kind of like this, O minus, O minus. That is the meaning, no? Then what about remaining? Double bond O, double bond O. Do you understand? Or you can also write like this. Take sulfur, it is 6 valence electron, right? Minus 2 is there, no? Add 2 more electron, it become 8. Next there are how many oxygen? 4. We know that oxygen is a bivalent. Okay. Then calculate number of sigma bond. So there is a in double bond only one sigma, no? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sigma equal to 4. Lone pair equal to 0. So 4 plus 0, 4. Again it is sp3. Here also same. Sigma bonds. This is 1 sigma. 2, 3, 4. No lone pair. So lone pair not there on sulfur. You don't see this lone pair. Lone pair must be on central atom because we are calculating hybridization of central atom, not oxygen. Okay, whichever you feel easy, you can go. You can follow method. Similarly, written question. First, calculate the hybridization of calculate the or identify the hybridization of underlined atom in the following. Fast. Underlined atoms in the following. Identify the hybridization of underlined atom in the following. 1. Hybridization in organic molecule, organic compounds. Tell me, in organic compounds, usually they are having carbon compounds, right? Hydrocarbons or hydrocarbon derivatives are organic compounds. So all the organic compounds having what? Carbon is a central atom, obviously, right? Then we study basically hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are classified into 3 types: alkane, alkene, alkyne. Let's see first alkane. Tell me, in alkane what is the bond? There is a carbon-carbon single bond. Then alkene, what is the bond? Double bond. In alkyne it is carbon-carbon triple bond. Therefore, if there is a only one bond present between carbon-carbon, its hybridization is sp3. If there are 2 bonds, double bond, it is sp2. If it is a 3 bonds, it is sp. It means alkane carbon sp3, alkene carbon sp2, alkyne carbon sp. But one exception, not exception, it is different example. If there is a carbon carbon double bond continuously, it is called a cumulative dienes. In dienes we have conjugated diene, cumulative diene. No, usually dienes. What is the meaning of diene? Double bonds. If double bond present continuously, like double bond, okay, they are called cumulative dienes. We are diene only. If double bond present here, double bond present here. What is this? Conjugative, no? Conjugation, conjugative. Okay, fine. Now we are studying about cumulative, means double bond present continuously. If the double bond present continuous carbon, obviously first carbon is sp2, last carbon is sp2, but remember this middle carbon is, if there are two pi bonds, it means two double bond, two side, it is not sp2, it is sp. Okay, this is one different example you have to remember. And can you tell me how this is sp? Very simple. You calculate number of hybrid orbital on this carbon. Okay, come on, tell me. We know that carbon has how many valence electron? 4, because 14 group, 4 valence electron. Out of 4 valence electron, one forming sigma, one forming pi, one sigma, one pi. But in hybrid orbital, what is the formula? Sigma plus lone pair, but not pi bond. Remember, pi bonds do not contribute in hybridization. Pi bonds do not contribute, or pi electrons do not contribute in hybridization, because pi bonds is not formed by hybrid orbital, no, isn't it? Only sigma bond is formed by hybrid orbital. That's what pi electrons are, do not contribute in hybridization. That's what we do not consider pi electrons. So sigma plus lone pair. Sigma is 1, 2, 2 sigma. Lone pair is 0. 2 plus 0, 2. 2 is a sp. Okay, this is one different example. In cumulative dienes, the middle carbon gets sp. In conjugative, it is as usual. This is, tell me, it is sp2. This is sp2 only, because double bond is there, no? This is what? sp2 only. This is sp2 only. Okay, next example. CH3, CH2, first CH2, CH3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. C1, C2, C3, C4. What is the hybridization? What is the hybridization of C1? sp3. Next sp3. Next sp3. But most of the time they do not ask what is hybridization. They ask total number of hybrid orbitals. Can you tell me this? It is a butane. This butane has how many total number of hybrid orbitals? There are 4 sp3, no? 4 sp3. But we know that each sp3 has how many sp3? Each carbon has 4 sp3. 4, 4, 4, 4. 4 into 4, 16. Therefore, butane has, important, butane has total 16 sp3 hybrid orbitals. Is there any unhybrid orbital? Is there any unhybrid orbital? No. If carbon undergo sp3, there is no unhybrid. No. We have studied methane. In methane, is there any unhybrid orbital? No. It means when carbon undergo sp3, there is no unhybrid. Take note. If carbon undergo sp3 hybridization, it do not have unhybrid orbital. Next, if carbon undergo sp2 hybridization, it has how many? One unhybrid orbital. It contain one unhybrid orbital. How the unhybrid orbitals are placed? Perpendicular to the hybrid orbital, right? Unhybrid is always placed perpendicular to the hybrid, right? Next, if carbon undergo sp hybridization, it contain how many? Two unhybrid orbital, they are perpendicular to the hybrid orbitals. Right, one example, CH3 CH double bond CH CH double bond CH3. It is 1 2 3 4 5. Come on, tell me. C1 C2 C3 C4 C5. What is the hybridization of C1 to C5? First C1 is sp3, C2 is sp2, because double bond is there. No, you see here one side single bond, but other side double bond. If there is a one double bond is there any one side, it is a sp2 only. Next, this carbon has double bond this side is single bond, we should consider double bond only. sp2, next sp2, next sp2, right? It is the hybridization of C1 to C5 carbon. But if they want to ask little higher level question, they may ask count of hybrid and unhybrid or type of hybrid. Can you tell me? So how many sp3 and how many sp2 hybrid orbitals? Come on. How many how many sp3? One. Only one? No, only one sp3. So there is only one sp3 carbon, means 4 sp3 hybrid orbital. It means 4. How many sp2? So there are how many carbons? 1 2 3 4. There are 4 sp2 carbon, but each carbon can form how many sp2? How many sp2? 3. Right? 3. 3 4s are 12. Okay. Then next is how many? Yes, unhybrid orbitals. So there are 4 sp2 carbons. We know that each sp2 carbon has one unhybrid. There are 4, therefore 4 unhybrid orbital. Okay, they may ask the ratio between hybrid and unhybrid. Ratio between hybrid, okay, hybrid and unhybrid. So total how many hybrid? This is a 4 sp3 4, it is hybrid only. sp2 is 12, 16 is to 4. Okay, ratio. So 60 is to 4, 4 is to 1 ratio, isn't it? What is the ratio between sp3 sp2?
1 is to 3.
So these are all possible questions. sp2 sp3 sp2 ratio. sp3 is 4, right? sp2 is 12, 1 is to 3. So it is 1 is to 3 answer. Write down. If lone pair or negative charge, lone pair or negative charge present adjacent to pi bond, adjacent to pi bond, or in conjugation, if lone pair or negative charge present adjacent to pi bond or in conjugation, then lone pair and negative charge should not be considered in hybridization. Should not be considered in hybridization. Okay, this is you will get in organic chemistry, but I will give hint here only so that it become easy there. Right, if lone pair and negative charge or negative charge present adjacent to pi bond or conjugation with other electrons, then those lone pair or negative charge should not be taken in hybridization. For example, let us take one simple example, CH3, CH2, NH2. Okay, so this nitrogen has one lone pair, no? Lone pair. Tell me, what is the hybridization of this nitrogen? How do you calculate hybridization? What is the formula to calculate hybrid orbital? You apply this is only. Hybrid orbital is equals to sigma bond plus LP, lone pair. Okay, then there are how many sigma bonds? 1. There are 2 hydrogen is 2 sigma bond. Lone pair is 1. Okay, 3 sigma, 1 lone pair equal to 4. It means it is sp3, right? But if it is molecule is like this, CH2 double bond CH and NH2 lone pair. In this case, what is the hybridization of this nitrogen? Is it sp3? If you calculate by using this formula, number of hybrid orbital equal to, tell me, same formula, no? Number of sigma bonds 1 plus 2, 3, lone pair equal to 1, which is equals to 4. It's supposed to get sp3, but wrong. Why? The reason is, you see, this lone pair is conjugation with pi electron. How? This lone pair form the bond, this pi bond shifted here. You have studied in organic chemistry. There is a conjugation phenomena. CH2 becomes CH2 minus, double bond becomes single bond, CH single bond become double bond, NH2 become NH2 plus. There is a lone pair, but whether lone pairs are localized or delocalized? Delocalized. The meaning of delocalization is they are not free, they are not located on particular carbon, they are shifting, delocalized. When electrons are delocalized, you should not consider it in hybridization. This is wrong. So therefore, in this case, what is the hybrid orbital equal to? Number of sigma bond, take 1, it is 3. 1 plus 2, 3 plus lone pair. Lone pair is, it look like one lone pair, but is it lone pair is locating only on nitrogen? No, it is shifting, it is involving. It may come again this side. It means those lone pair electrons does not involved in hybridization. So therefore, you should take it is 0. In that case, hybrid orbital is equals to 3. It is sp2. Important, it is sp2. Understand? One more example. CH3, CH2, CH2, negative charge. What is hybridization of this? Similarly, CH2 double bond CH, CH2, negative charge. What is the hybridization? Come on. See here, in organic molecule, you need to check whether there is resonance or not. Is there resonance in first molecule? Suppose if this electron shift here, is there any resonance here? No resonance. That's what? There is no delocalization. If there is no delocalization, you can apply the same formula. Hybrid orbital is equals to how many sigma bonds? 1 plus 2, 3 sigma bond plus there is one lone pair. This negative charge is 1 lone pair, no? 4. That means sp3. Correct? Huh? Then what about this? So this lone pair is negative charge involving resonance. Then this pi bond shifted here. So therefore, in this case, to calculate hybrid orbital, you can take sigma bond 1 plus 2, 3 sigma bond, all right. But this lone pair or free electron should not be considered in hybridization. It is taken as a 0. Therefore, it is 3 sp2. Important. You understand? Okay. There is a application of this. Very big story is there. We don't want to go in that depth. We'll study in organic chemistry later. Okay. There are two molecules. Tell me, what is the hybridization of both? Nitrogen only. Whether same or different? Different. Why? See, this lone pair involved in resonance, no, it is possible. Now here is no resonance. Now that's what you calculate sigma bond 1, 2, 3. So 3 sigma bond, no lone pair, sp2. Even though lone pair is there, those lone pairs are not free. They are not free to involved in hybridization. Right? So that's what. Here is lone pair, it is free to involve. Resonance then tell me 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So like that, it has application in organic chemistry. We will study later in detail. You just remember one important note. Valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. It is proposed by Sidgwick and Powell and developed by Nyholm. Okay. Then let's see. We have completed VBT, valence bond theory. So valence bond theory could not explain some structures of the molecule. There are some drawbacks, particularly like ammonia and water. If you see the ammonia, its hybridization is sp3, right? Water sp3. So according to the hybridization of water is sp3, ammonia sp3. But according to VBT, if any molecule undergo sp3 hybridization, its geometry should be tetrahedral and its bond angle should be how much? 109 degrees 28 minutes. We have studied in tetrahedral geometry, that is in sp3 hybridization. Similarly, water also undergo sp3. It's supposed to have tetrahedral geometry and its bond angle also supposed to have 109 degrees 28 minutes. This is according to VBT, right? But the practically observed that ammonia undergo sp3, all right. Water undergo sp3, all right. But structure is, geometry is not tetrahedral and bond angle is not this. It is also not this. It is not this. Then the structure of the molecule is, shape of the molecule is pyramidal, and its bond angle is 107 degrees. Similarly, water also undergo sp3, but its geometry is not a tetrahedral, it is a angular or V shape, and its bond angle is 104 degrees 5 minutes approximately. It means there is a deviation from what? Valence bond theory, particularly where giving where structures and bond angles. Hybridization explained clearly. VBT explains hybridization without any deviation, but there is a deviation in where only in geometries and their what? Bond angles. So this was rectified by VS-EPR theory, right? So therefore VS-EPR theory explains the what bond angles and structure of or geometries of molecule which are having lone pairs. Ammonia has one lone pair and water has two lone pairs. The molecules which are having central atom having one or more lone pair, their geometries as well as bond angles are deviated from VBT. So it was rectified by later VS-EPR theory, so which was given by Sedgwick and Powell. Okay, now write the postulates of VS-EPR theory. Postulates of VS-EPR theory. First postulate: the shape of molecule depends on electron pairs present on valence shell of central atom. So this VS-EPR theory mainly focused on what? Shape of the molecule. The shape of the molecule is mainly depends on what? Electron pairs present on the only valency shell of central atom. Okay, next postulate. The next is repulsions exert between electron pairs present on valence shell of central atom. So obviously, if electron pair present on the valence shell of central atom, there is a repulsions exert, because repulsion between electron possible, right? So repulsions exert between electron pair present on the valence shell of central atom. Next, third assumption: order of repulsion. What is the order of repulsion? So the repulsion between lone pair is larger than lone pair bond pair, which is greater than bond pair. Important. So repulsion between lone pair always more than lone pair bond pair. Next, last point is, now due to these repulsions there is a distortion in or change in the shape of the molecule takes place or occurs due to repulsions between electron pairs. Due to repulsions between electron pairs, what happened? Distortion in shape of molecule takes place. Distortion means change. Due to repulsions between electron pairs, repulsion between electron pairs, distortion in the shape of molecule occurs. Okay, now let us take same example. Here VBT theory could not explain the structure of ammonia water. Now tell me, according to VBT, take methane, water and ammonia and water. In methane, what is the central atom undergo? sp3. Here is sp3, here is sp3. In all three molecule, central atom undergoing sp3 according to VBT. If it is sp3, obviously its geometry must be tetrahedral. Then methane is alright tetrahedral, but ammonia is not a tetrahedral, and water is not a tetrahedral, and its bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. This is as well, it is there, but in ammonia it is not this. In water it is not this. Why? The reason is, in ammonia there is a one lone pair on nitrogen, here two lone pair on oxygen. Due to lone pair repulsions, here lone pair bond pair repulsions, lone pair repulsions, there is a distortion in the shape of the molecule takes place. It's supposed to be pyramidal. Now it's supposed to be tetrahedral. This tetrahedral is distorted to pyramidal. Next, here due to two lone pairs, then what happened? Tetrahedral distorted to V shape or angular shape, bent shape. And here bond angle is reduced to 107, bond angle reduced to 104 degrees, 0.5 minutes. According to VS EPR theory, the shape of molecule depends on hybridization of central atom, and lone pair electrons present on central atom. Lone pair electrons present on central atom. Okay, so take this tabular column. Type of hybridization, make it fast. Type of hybridization, second column, number of lone pairs, shape of molecule, a geometry of molecule. So if you know the type of hybridization, number of lone pairs, it is possible to identify the shape. Question related to shape also important. First is sp. Remember sp, there is only 0 lone pair. Next sp2, 0 lone pair. sp2, 1 lone pair also possible. sp2, 2 lone pair is not there. Next sp3, 0 lone pair. sp3, 1 lone pair. sp3, 2 lone pair. Even sp3, 3 lone pair also be there. sp3, 0, 1, 2, 3 lone pair possible. Next sp3d, 0 possible. sp3d, 1 possible. sp3d, 2 possible. sp3d, 3 possible. Next sp3d2, 0 possible. sp3d2, 1 possible. sp3d2, 2 possible. Next sp3d3, 0 possible. sp3d3, 1. sp3d3, 2. These are combinations possible. Okay. Now come on, tell me. Here important is this. You need to remember. You have to remember. There is no other way. You should by heart it. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ. sp0 lone pair is always linear. If the hybridization of molecule is sp, lone pair is 0. It is linear. Next, sp2 0, trigonal planar. Next, sp2 1, it is a angular or V shape. Or bent shape also possible, bent shape. Next, come on, sp3 0, tetrahedral. sp3 1, pyramidal. Tomorrow I'll ask this for everyone. sp3 2, angular like water, angular or V shape. sp3 3, it is a linear. sp3d 0, trigonal. Yes, pcl 5, trigonal by pyramidal. It is also called TBP, no? TBP. Next, sp3d 1, this is a seesaw. ಪಾರ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಆಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಒಬ್ಬರು ಆ ಕಡೆ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಈಗ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಎದ್ದೋದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಸೀಸಾ. ಇಟ್ ಲುಕ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸೀಸಾ, ರೈಟ್? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, sp3d 2, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಟಿ ಶೇಪ್. ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಟಿ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಟಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಬೇಡ್ರಿ, ಆ ಥರ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. sp3d 3, it is again linear. ನೋಡಿ, 3 ಲೋನ್ ಪೇರ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ 3 ಲೋನ್ ಪೇರ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, sp3d 2 0 ಲೋನ್ ಪೇರ್, octahedral. sp3d 2 1 lone pair, square pyramidal. Square pyramidal. sp3d 2 2 lone pair, square planar. sp3d 3 0 lone pair, pentagonal bipyramidal. Next, sp3d 3 1 lone pair, distorted octahedral. Distorted octahedral. sp3d 3 2 lone pair, it is a pentagonal planar. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರೀರಿ. Okay, right. So let's see the geometry of or shape of this molecule. First one is ammonia. Tell me, to identify the geometry or shape of the molecule, you need to calculate first hybridization. This is the only one method. So first identify hybridization. Nitrogen central atom, which has how many valence electron? Obviously 5, 15th group element. Then there are 3 hydrogen. So each hydrogen is a monovalent, it can form 3 bonds. Still there are how many lone pair? 1 lone pair. So lone pair equal to 1, sigma bond equal to 3. Then number of hybrid orbital is equals to sigma plus lone pair. Sigma is 3, lone pair is 1, equal to 4. Therefore it is sp3. Now till here already we have studied. But now we want to identify geometry or shape. So here sp3 hybridization, lone pair is 1. Tell me, sp3 1, where we have written here? sp3 1 lone pair, geometry is pyramidal. So how it is? Nitrogen central atom, it has 2, that is 3 bonds like this, and there is a 1 lone pair here like this. Okay, its shape is look like pyramidal. Okay, what is the bond angle of any 2 bonds here? 107 degrees. Like that you just draw the structure of all molecule. How to draw structure we have studied last class.